you miss us? Just curious. We're back. It's 3. That's right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Season 3. Can't believe it. Already Season 3 of 302 Sports Weekly. Welcome in, everyone. We're live here at the Buffalo Wild Wings in the Middletown location for our fall preview special here as we're getting ready and geared up and ready to go for the 2019-2020 high school athletic year, so to speak, as well as academics. Don't want to forget about them as well. As always, my name is Patrick Gariani's alongside me, Nick Alessandrini. Nick, welcome back, man. Did you miss the allure of the Buffalo Wild Wings?
Oh, man, just the scent when you walk in, just brings it all back. Summer was way too long. I'm just so glad to be back here and ready to dive back into fall sports.
Absolutely, and we will be covering that. We will be covering everything here in the fall special. Alongside us right here to start off, we have our gurus, Mike Lang, Jason Winchell. Fellas, welcome back. How have you been?
Well, I've been busy the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We had our volleyball preview on Friday, which went well, and already caught a game this year today. So it's about time. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I've been itching all summer long, getting ready for this, and it's here, and I can't wait.
Absolutely. And Nick, the fall season will be kicking off. Actually, it started today, and there's a lot of great things we're looking forward to.
Yeah, there's a pair of games that kick off the football season, as you probably heard of, for tomorrow night. We are partnering with the RFC to bring you 2 kickoff classic games. DIFCA, D-I-F-C-A. It's the first episode of the season, everyone. Bring you 2 kickoff classic games. Christiana obviously taking on St. E's in the Battle of the Vikings, and then Lake Forest meets Polytech. We're going to preview both of those games, take a look at some other games as well this weekend, and we'll also have our preseason top 10s and bring out a competitive new pick segment that we're going to get into with our 302 Sports crew, and another new feature, the PT Minute, we'll also get into. So a lot of new things we're going to debut tonight, something to look forward to, and we're going to take a short break, Pat, but we come back, then we'll dive right into our 302 Football Classic games that we've got planned for tomorrow night. So short break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check.
And began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today.
And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. 302 Sports Weekly. We're live here for our Season 3 premiere special, going over all the fall sports. And as Nick, you alluded to before the break, it's time to break down the 2 kickoff classic games. 302 Sports, of course, partnering with DIFCA, as you mentioned. Thursday night specials, as they like to say, right? St. E's and Christiana, we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, we're going to welcome in our down south man, Benny Mitchell, the guy from below the canal. Everything. Mr. Sussex County. However many nicknames he wants here. We're going to bring him along here with Jay as well. And we're going to go over this Lake Forest and Polytech game, which, of course, is the other game of our kickoff classic. And Benny, I know you think Lake Forest will have an improved team this year. Let's just jump right into it. Talk a little bit about them.
Lake Forest, last year they lost their star running back at the Woodbridge game, had to go the rest of the year, but they ended up beating Milford, a division, which is now a Division 2 team, or Division 1 team, in the Battle of the Bell to end their season. So they've got some athletes there. I was out to the practice field, and they got some size, they got some speed. Veteran coach and Freddie Johnson. I think they're a top 10 team in Division II, but they have to prove themselves. A good running back in Zaire Elliott, and a fullback in Isaiah Johnson, who's the son of Coach Freddie Johnson, and a really good guy to watch this year is a two-way lineman in Christopher Thompson. He was the Henley Open Conference runner-up last year in 220. Beat Hugo Harp, the state champ, the week before. So he's an athletic kid. He's a multi-sport. I think he's a three-sport athlete, and he brings a lot of size and speed, especially to the defensive line. And this game, how close are these schools? It's a right turn up 13 and a right turn to Polytech.
Yeah.
I mean, they are within 5 miles of each other. So you get down to Polytech, and then what I like about Polytech is the new head coach. He's excited. He's bringing excitement to not a lot of numbers, but when I was at the practice field, he had kids moving, and there was a lot of excitement there. Robert Mason, the head coach, he's been at Polytech before as an assistant. And they come at you with there's another Tassione at quarterback, but it's the younger brother. It's Caleb Tassione. He's been playing wide receiver for a couple years. He'll be the quarterback. And then two guys to watch, Dylan Stubbs and DJ Raleigh. Watch them on the defensive side of the ball. Polytech's looking, a couple years ago, they were right on the outside of the bubble.
Yeah.
Looking to get in that state tournament, and they didn't. Then they went 3 straight losses, but I think they went 7-3 that year, 6-4 maybe.
It was a big turnaround.
Yeah.
The year prior to that, they only won 2 games.
Right. So new head coach. Sometimes that new head coach can bring you a couple wins just by excitement. So we talked to the 2 coaches this summer, and here's what they had to say about being in the Kickoff Classic. It's like bringing back the Kickoff Classic, Lake Forest Polytech. What are your thoughts of that game?
Oh, it's pretty exciting being the only downstate game to kick off the season, so that's pretty exciting. And also renewing our rivalry with Polytech. We haven't played them in a few years, so a lot of our kids are excited about that because they played with these guys in middle school and they're getting to play them in high school. So pretty exciting.
And how about the fact that it's not just the season kickoff, it's only one of 2 games being played on Thursday night, so all eyes of the state are going to be on Lake Forest and Polytech on Thursday night.
Right, that's always, for the kids, that's always, they like being the center of attention. So, it gives everybody a chance to see what Lake Forest, Polytech, and the 2 upstate teams have for the year. So it's pretty exciting to be able to play in the Kickoff Classic this year.
Thursday night, September 5th, Kickoff Classic, the DIFCA and the 302 Sports Kickoff Classic. Bringing it back with Coach Freddie Johnson, the Lake Forest Spartans, against the Polytech Panthers. Benny Mitchell with 302 Sports here with Polytech head coach Robert Mason, coaching your first year, and you get to go to the Kickoff Classic. Talk about Polytech, and it's going to be their maiden voyage on 302 Sports.
Well, it's a great opportunity, and the irony. When I first came here in Polytech in 2013, we met Lake Forest in the Kickoff Classic, and we were able to win Coach Smith's first year. So it would be apropos if I was able to duplicate his success on that first game.
Right. The only 2 games on Thursday night. It's a Thursday night headliner, so all eyes on the state are going to be seeing Polytech and Lake Forest. And what are your kids thinking about that? Are they excited about this spotlight game?
Oh, they've already starting to tweet it and send it around. So we're excited about this opportunity to showcase what we're doing. Man, these kids are working so hard this year, and you gotta want to showcase what we're doing. They believe, and I believe, and want everybody else to believe too.
Right. September 4th, folks, right here at Polytech High School, the DIFCA 302 Sports Kickoff Classic.
And welcome back. A special thanks to Lake Forest. As you can see, they're ready to go for tomorrow's 302 Sports Kickoff Classic. Now we look to their opponent, Benny Polytech. Tell us a little bit about them. What are some players to look for?
I think Polytech's at home. This is a tough matchup. Lake Forest was 7-3, 6-4. All their losses were to tournament teams. So, and like I said, they lost Johnson last year at the end of the season. Polytech, a new quarterback, and Caleb Tassione. He's been the quarterback before. He's got the experience. I just want to see playing at home with a new coach. How Polytech will handle Lake Forest. I think Lake Forest has to be the favorite going in. and I could see them making that 18 field in Division II this year with their schedule.
Absolutely, and Benny, Jay, both of you guys, just having this game start off the year, week 1, Thursday night, getting some teams that typically don't get the spotlight, so to speak. Talk a little bit about how these two programs are improving and just the opportunity for them to really get their programs out there, because typically these two schools are kind of under the radar.
Yeah, exactly right. You stole my words. Under the radar teams coming up, and now they get the spotlight. They Thursday night special, going against each other. Like Benny said, very close in proximity. Is it a rivalry, Benny?
Nah, it's not really a rivalry.
But they're close, so
Right.
they want to beat each other.
There will be Lake Forest
Yeah.
kids on that Polytech team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and another thing with Lake Forest, if you go back and look at the Henlopen South champions, last year Woodbridge, year before Delmar, before that Woodbridge, Lake Forest. And if you remember the year Hodgson won the state title, they got beat in the opening round by Hodgson in a 2-point game. Probably could have been the state final, but that was the year that Buck Jones got ejected from a game and they lost and they end up 7th seed.
Yeah.
So those two teams played to within 2 points of each other. So Lake Forest knows what it's like. They've been there. Head coach Freddie Johnson's been there. Polytech's trying to find out. It's going to be an interesting game Friday night.
Absolutely.
Or Thursday night, excuse me.
Yeah, Thursday night is exactly it. So that's game 1 that we're taking a look at on Thursday night. That'll be our Downstate Kickoff Classic game of the week. Benny, thanks once again for coming in and giving us the spotlight on those two programs. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about the two upstate teams that will be taking place in 302 Sports Kickoff Classic. The battle for the Vikings, St. Elizabeth and Christiana, after this.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
Life's assurance that your HVAC system is what you need with Ambience. Ambience provides you with over 25 years of experience in the heating, cooling, and plumbing industry. The team at Ambience Heating and Air Conditioning provides high-quality residential HVAC installations, maintenance, and repairs in new and older homes in the Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania tri-state area. You may not realize it, but half of your energy costs go to heating and cooling. Make sure your energy dollars count and call us today for a free estimate. 302-239-HVAC. 302-239-4822.
And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. 302 Sports Weekly. Thanks once again to Benny Mitchell breaking down the downstate version of the 302 Kickoff Classic. Two really good programs trying to get their footing right to start the year off with Lake Forest and Polytech. And as we talked about before the break, Christiana and St. Elizabeth, kind of in a similar situation. Both teams last year missing out on the playoffs, trying to get their programs back on the right trajectory. We welcome back in Mike Lang along with Jason. And, Mike, we'll start with you with Christiana, taking a look at this program. The last couple of years, it seems to have had some changes go on.
Yeah.
But they're trying to get things right.
Well, last year, things just fell apart down there at Christiana. Well, I guess from here it's up there, Christiana. They had the mess last year. They ended up forfeiting 3 games, I believe. And the new coach this year, Mike Kinlaw, we're going to hear from Mike and some of his assistants. He's new. He's working in a new system, but he's got some guys back from last year, and they're really kind of starting over at Christiana. The school's been through a lot. So he's doing what he can to kind of restore that pride at Christiana, and the kids are hungry. We talked to them earlier a couple weeks ago and last week, and they're ready to go. I think they're ready for the fresh start at Christiana, and they appreciate the opportunity to be the featured game upstate this week. So it's good to see I'm excited to see what happens at Christiana. It's a proud tradition at Christiana, and it's just it's been down for a couple of years, and they're ready to turn it around.
One thing, they have enough players this year for a JV team, which they haven't had in a while. So they're starting to get those numbers back. New coaching staff. Now a chance for to be the spotlight game of this week one. It's going to be great for their program.
Absolutely. And Mike, you talked about it a little bit, the history of this school. This was one of the predominant programs in the state of Delaware for a long time.
Yeah, and the one alum that comes to mind is Dan Reeder, who came out of Christiana, went to Boston College and then the University of Delaware, and played in the NFL for 3 or 4 years. And Dan's still involved with youth football in Delaware.
Yeah.
He's not the only player to come out of there, but this is not a nothing program. They have a history there at Christiana, and the school's been around a long time. So it's good to see those Vikings trying to make a little bit of a comeback.
Absolutely. And Mike, you actually had a chance to stop over there and talk with some of the current players and coaches over at Christiana. We're going to take a look and see what they had to say about the upcoming game.
Christiana coaching staff, new head coach Mike Kinlaw. Mike, can you just tell us who's standing here with you?
Yeah, we have Coach Joe to my right. We have Coach Smitty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach Wardrobe.
All right, guys. You guys are on the 302 Sports Kickoff Classic Thursday night at Caravel against St. Elizabeth's. And Coach, some questions here for you real quick. What was it about the Christiana job that you found appealing, and why did you want to take over?
Because the kids, I like just working with kids, and I just wanted to see them prosper.
So, it's your first year, obviously. What is the goal? What are you trying to implement here at Christiana?
Well, first and foremost, discipline, chemistry together, and just getting everybody out to play.
So you're part of the first 302 Sports Kickoff Classic. What's it mean to you to have one of the 2 games that's kicking off football in Delaware this year?
It's a true honor. To be part of it.
Have you guys talked about trying to start the season right? What's been your message to the team so far?
Discipline and go out there, leave everything on the field,
All right, so you're playing St. Elizabeth's tomorrow night, and what do you know about St. E's? Have you got a chance to go out and watch them at all? And you know Marvin Dooley, I'm sure.
Yes.
So what do you know about the Vikings, the other Vikings?
Okay. Well, we know Dooley. He played that hard mouth offense. He's just gonna run the ball down your throat, and if he catch you sleeping, he's gonna throw the ball. I mean, he had success at William Penn, so he's gonna try to bring that success over to St. E's.
All right, fellas. New year, new coach. What's it been like with Coach Kinlaw? And I know he's standing right here, but you guys can answer. Just tell us what it's been like with him. Whoever wants to answer.
It's different coaching, but altogether we know that it's to better the program and just make change their Christiana from the years before. Yeah, just like that.
Sure, whoever wants to take that one.
Winning way more games than Florida.
Flight B championship.
Flight B.
Mm-hmm.
So Flight B's got Newark has moved into Flight B this year, and Glasgow's always a tough team. Is there anybody that you're keeping your eye on there?
Not really.
No, everybody, huh?
Right now, we're just balling out. Yeah.
Well, I know the first game, obviously, is tomorrow night, a Thursday night at Caravel against St. Elizabeth's and the other Vikings in the 302 Sports Kickoff Classic. I asked your coach, I'll ask you, what does it mean for you to be in the first football game of the year in the state? You guys are upstate, the only game being played, so all eyes will be on you. What's that mean for you guys?
It's really a chance for us to just show people how we've changed over the course of just a couple months and just have fun at the same time.
Who knows anything about St. Elizabeth's? What can you tell us about St. E's?
I know that my old wrestling coaches coached their O-line and D-line, and their head coach was a referee for wrestling. I'm just trying. Yeah, I talked to them. I think it was a couple months ago. I'm just trying to beat them for real. Yeah, they was talking. They was just talking about their line and stuff, and we're just trying to beat them.
And thanks once again to Christiana, Coach Kinlaw and company there. Zaid Barnes, you saw near Shadier, Fort Hopkins, Meet Rawal, Ryan Guidibo as well. Special thanks to those guys for taking some time and talking with us, and best of luck to tomorrow. And Nick, that's just one team. There's another team taking the field tomorrow night up north, and they're looking to turn some things around too.
Absolutely, Pat. You said it. It's a different set of Vikings, the St. Elizabeth Vikings, who you know pretty well. Again, tomorrow at Caravel. Now we'll look over to Mike and Jason to talk a little bit about them. The St. E's Vikings, what are we looking for out of them tomorrow night, Mike?
Second year under Marvin Dooley, and it's unbelievable. I'm amazed at what's going on at St. E's. 51 players in the roster. They have more players in the roster than St. Mark's. We were talking during the interview. Marvin, knows the ADs in that school every day. Walked the cafeteria at lunchtime and basically said, "I want you to play football." And the kids are out and they're excited. His starting quarterback, we know from baseball, C.J. Small.
Yep.
Kid can throw, lefty. He's got a couple transfers in. Luke Schiavone is going to be a weapon on the outside, and we're going to hear from Luke. Marvin's not a patient guy, and he wants to win now. And the kids are responding to him. I'm so impressed with what I'm seeing out of your alma mater, Pat.
Hey.
They were 5-5 last year, and Marvin's thinking playoffs. This is his next step is to postseason. And they have a tough schedule, but I think they can do it. We'll see what happens.
51 kids, man. They haven't had numbers like that since good things happened back there. It's about a decade ago.
Championship.
So, but yeah, they're it's good to see. And I was out of practice and watching these kids respond to him. It's awesome to see.
And Jay, one of the things we've seen, or we're going to see from St. E's is young, a lot of incoming freshmen and transfers, which again, very similar to a team that played there a little less than a decade ago. Retooling there, the kids seem to be really buying into what Coach Dooley is doing. And what are you expecting to see from St. Elizabeth here?
Yeah, I expect them. Pat, they got off to a great start last year, and then I think he started losing players due to injuries, then had the depth. So what does he do? He goes out, gets 51 kids coming this year. He's implementing the system, and like Mike said, the next step for him is Division II postseason. Will this year be the year? It's gonna be tough. They don't have as many Division I teams as a lot of these other Division II teams have on their schedule, so they're going to have to make up some points. But he's got the talent, and I think he's getting ready to take that next step there for St. Elizabeth.
And we got another special treat as we caught up with St. Elizabeth's Coach Dooley and the Vikings. So let's see what they had to say.
Marvin Dooley, coach of St. Elizabeth. Thanks for having us here today.
Thanks for having us.
So, Coach, what are you looking forward to this season? I know you got a young squad, but what's ahead of you guys this year?
Well, with a young team, you look to mature each week. So we went through 3 preseason games. We played 5 teams during them preseason games. And you hope to mature each week. I think we're where we should be at this point in time. Now we're hoping this week we'll mature another week. And each week, if you get better and better, you hope to be playing your best football come November.
Well, speaking of November, we got something that's coming a little sooner than that, right? So you guys are part of the 302 Sports Kickoff Classic. It's our first year. What made you want to be part of that?
Well, the first thing is you get to kick the season off. Your players get a chance. First team to play, you're the only game in town. You hope a lot of people come out to the game. That's one. For 302 Sports does a lot for our athletes to promote our athletes. There's no other place or program that does what 302 Sports does for our athletes. So to be a part of that is a special thing for St. Elizabeth High School.
Appreciate that. So, Coach, you're going to be playing Christiana. What do you know about Christiana, or what kind of obstacles are they going to give your team in Game 1?
Well, they got a new coaching staff, so anything I saw in the past is out the window. We've had a chance to see a couple films. I think their speed on the outsides or height on the outside will give us some troubles. You want to hopefully stop the run. You hope you match it well against the line. I saw tape. I think we match up inside. I think it's our strength. But they got tall receivers that worry me. Defensively, they're fast. They have a lot of speed. So offensively, you hope go right at them to use the speed against them.
Go. Hi, I'm Luke Schiavone. I'm a tight end. and a defensive end. I'm a senior at St. Elizabeth's.
Luke, thank you for taking time out here for 302 Sports. I want to just ask you a couple of quick questions about it. So you've been here for all 4 years, still played all 4 years. What has it been like since the transition of Coach Dooley coming over?
It's been a big change, like a lot of disciplinary things and much more working hard at practice and much more like effort. He's really like bringing the effort out of us and making us work hard.
Good. Okay, so what is it your team's looking forward to this year? What are your goals? What do you guys want to accomplish?
We're trying to make playoffs, 100%. Definitely trying to make playoffs, and then if that doesn't happen, we at least want to go out with a positive record, but 100% playoffs. That's a big goal of ours.
Awesome. Well, that's great. So tell me, what is it going to be like being part of the first 302 Sports Kickoff Classic, playing Thursday night in front of everybody?
I'm excited, really excited. I've been looking forward to this all year and had it marked on my calendar since December, so I'm ready.
That's what I like to hear. So give me an idea of just what it's like playing here at St. Elizabeth's.
It's like a family. We're working hard together. we've all been together in the weight room, grinding it out and just working hard. Really just working as hard as we can and trying to just get some wins on the board.
Hi, I'm Gavin McCarthy. I'm a senior, and I play O-line and D-tackle.
Nice. Well, Gavin, I appreciate you really taking time out for us here at 302 Sports. I wanted to just talk to you now about the season. What are you looking forward to? What's your team looking forward to accomplishing this year?
We're looking forward to, ultimate goal is to get a state championship this year. It's been a while, and we want to get back to it.
Nice. I like it. So this year you guys are going to be part of the 302 Sports Kickoff Classic. What does that mean to you and your teammates?
It means a lot, first game of the season, we want to show off and show what we can do this year.
You're going to be Thursday night, it's just going to be you, right? You guys are going to be the only team, so what do you guys want to show in that game that St. Elizabeth's can do?
We're going to show who we are, get back to it, show how what St. Elizabeth's football is.
What's it been like playing under Coach Dooley?
Oh, it's awesome, a lot of pride in what he does.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, 302 Sports Weekly. Thanks once again there to Coach Dooley and company there from St. Elizabeth, giving us some insight before their upcoming matchup with Christiana. And Mike, Jay, let's dive into this just a little bit here before we wrap things up and talk about some of the keys to the games for both teams. Obviously, both of them trying to get off to a good start with their program, kind of trying to resurge things this year.
Yeah, and like Mike said, Christiana struggled last year, but at the beginning of the year they were okay, and they had a game against AI and stuff didn't go their way, and it turned into some forfeits down the line. But the one thing they stress this year is discipline. They got the kids out there; they're ready to take that next step. Same thing with St. E's. One thing to remember is Banner Stadium is not there this year, so St. E's chose Caravel as their home game, so.
It's a neutral site.
It's a neutral site game. It's not really a home game, and we'll see if that comes into play at all in that game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm looking at taking a look at these rosters. A lot of youth on both. We mentioned 20 freshmen on St. E's. Christiana, I believe, has 5 or 6 seniors on there. So you're going to need. I think this is unfortunately the first game. There's going to be some mistakes in the game, probably some missed coverages or just some misplays, maybe some turnovers. I think the team that makes a few mistakes is going to win this one. If St. E's has a lot of people, they're a little short on the experience, so I think maybe Marvin tries to keep it simple, but that offensive line, which is going to be really big, I think that's critical to get Small some time. This is a new quarterback, but I think CJ's got some weapons out there. Christiana needs those seniors, Barnes and Kasim McAfee, these guys to step up, meet Roel. It needs to play well on the line. So they have few seniors. They need their seniors to step up. St. E's needs to give Small time to let these plays develop. I think it's both coaches are going to keep it kind of on the simple side because they're still working in new players, a new system at Christiana and a second-year system at St. E's. But I think it's going to be a good one. Absolutely. I'm ready to go. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and we're all excited. 302 Sports, very glad to be partnered there with DIFCA, to be bringing you the 302 Sports Classic. And remember, both of these games can be streamed and will be streamed and be seen on 302sports.com as well as our YouTube page. Nick, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk field hockey, top 10s, and look at some big upcoming games after this.
When's the next football segment after volleyball?
It's a. I think it's a
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
And welcome back live inside 302 Sports here at our Middletown location this week as we kick off our first episode of the season. Fall 2019, we went over football. Now it's time to dive into field hockey as that season opened up today. So we'll get right into our preseason field hockey rankings with the top 10, starting with Division II. 10 Brandywine, 9 Caravel, 8 Sanford, 7 Friends, 6 Lake Forest, 5 Archmere, 4 Ursuline, 3 Indian River, 2 Tower Hill, and your top team at Division II with number 1, Del Mar. So guys, just went through the top 10. Mike, we'll start with you. General thoughts here from the preseason top 10 as we go forward.
Well, the usual suspects up there, especially Del Mar. They just reload, and it's going to be tough. Tower Hill, good team. I wrote some notes down here in Tower, but I think that's a pretty solid list. Caravel losing an all-state caliber goalkeeper and attacker who's now playing at UD, so no surprise they dropped a little bit, but it's I'm ready to go. I love field hockey. Games start at 3:45, and they're going to be done at 5:10, so it's always easy to sneak some in.
Hey, Jay, a few things want to bounce off you there. Is anyone going to be down? Caravel, they were in a championship game last year. I know Mike kind of alluded to it a little bit. They starting off number 9 after finishing the runner-up last year. Talk a little bit about that program, as well as, like we said, Del Mar.
Yeah, well, Caravel, what can you say? Great season last year, get to the championship game, but like Mike said, they lose an all-state goalie and an all-state attacker who's playing at UD as a freshman, and UD's a nationally ranked field hockey program, so that's going to be tough to replace. They're young. They got a good game, good test tonight against Lake Forest at home. Let's see if they're
weather permitting.
Obviously, but it'd be interesting to see how they do. I think by the end of the year they could be up in that top 5 and challenge Del Mar. But right now, Del Mar outscored their opponents. I think it was like 100-1 last year. They gave up 1 goal the whole year. So, and they graduated a few, but they got enough pieces coming back that I think they're going to be hard to beat this year.
Nick, just looking ahead here, there's some good games coming up this week.
Yeah, especially this week. Already getting it started with some matchups in the top 10 on Friday, 3:45. Mike, you like those early starts. You got one there. Let's talk about this first one. Number 8, Sanford at number 10, Brandywine. 2 top 10 teams. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, let's take a look. Sanford and Brandywine last year, I'm organized. Last year, Sanford got them 2-0. But in that game, Julia Hurst, the keeper for Brandywine, stopped 18 of 20 shots. Problem for Brandywine, they only had 1 shot, and that's not enough to win when you give up 2. So they need to find some offense against Sanford. Sanford really didn't lose all that much. They lost a couple players, but they have most of their players are back. So it's going to be a really tough test for Brandywine. Sanford's one of the top. This is a top 10 matchup. Brandywine's a very good team, but they need to find some offense, and they're going to need Hurst to stand on her head again like she did last year. She's a senior this year, so I expect a low-scoring affair, and that's up at Brandywine. So if you're up in that neck of the woods, that's a good one to stop in and warm up for some Friday night football.
Absolutely, and now looking up here at the next game here, Jay. We haven't quite revealed the Division I rankings, but we'll give a little spoiler alert here. Number 3, Padua, will be visiting that runner-up from last year, Caravel. It's a Tuesday matchup at 7:15. Just looking at that one, Jay, last year this would have been a great matchup. How's it going to look this year?
Yeah, it's funny because both were runner-ups last year. Caravel in Division II, Padua in Division I. Both could not get it by the Giants last year, Cape Henlopen and Delmar. Interesting. Padua lost a lot too. Caravel lost a lot. So both teams are going to have that early season struggle. What I like about Padua is they beefed up their schedule this year. Polytech, they added Polytech. They have Cape. They added Delmar. They added Caravel. They beefed up their schedule, looking to take that next step and compete with the Cape Henlopen. And Caravel, their schedule's always tough. They want to play the best, so when they get in tournament time, that they're ready to play.
Absolutely. Now moving along into Division I, the top 10, flashing up on your screen. Just looking at it here, 10 through 6 is Sussex Central, Smyrna, St. George's, Concord, and Middletown. In your top 5, Sussex Tech, Wilmington Charter, Padua, Polytech, number 1, Cape Henlopen. Really no surprise there. And Mike, just looking up there, Polytech and Padua, they played today.
They did. It was they got Polytech, the home team, with a 2-1 win over the Pandas. I have no stats or box score or anything yet, but that's a good win. Polytech is a new coach this year. Lynn Richardson has moved on, but they brought back a couple scorers. Cecilia Rivera, Naja Weaver, Postel are back. They did lose a high quality goalkeeper rather, but apparently they only gave up 1 goal to Padua this year, so they must have somebody who can play in the cage. So yeah, that's a good start for them. I think Padua's issue might be putting the ball in the net. They have a really good scorer in Angelo Tagliano, but and they have some secondary scorers, but it's a good way to start for Polytech. A nice win.
Absolutely. And Jay, we see 3 Henlopen North teams in the top 5, 5 in the top 10. What makes that conference just so good?
It's just field hockey heaven down that way, and they get they get the top players, great coaches, and they just seem to kind of like how Northern Newcastle dominates the volleyball. They dominate the field hockey down there, and it's going to be that good again this year. There's so many good Henlopen teams in both the Division I and Division II to keep an eye out on for this year.
Fellas, is there anybody that can challenge Cape Henlopen? Honestly, is there anyone? And if so, what's the secret to it?
So let's move on to volleyball. It's going to be tough. I think
I would go Polytech, right? Because they're a division team. They always seem to play Cape tough. Now Polytech proved why they were number 2 by beating the number 3 today. So, they held serve on their home court or home field, and but I think if anyone's going to give it Padua played Cape twice last year and lost by a combined 11-0. So Padua's got to find a way to at least score against Cape, or and try and keep that down. But the Cape speed is incredible.
Absolutely, and just looking ahead again here, Nick, some great games coming up.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough to have some great matchups this early in the year. Kicking it off with a top 10 matchup tomorrow, 3:45 p.m. Number 7 in Division I, Concord takes on number 5 in Division II, Archmere. Jay, why don't you break down that game for us a little bit? Tell us a little bit about that matchup.
Yeah, the last 3 years I've been to all 3 of their games, and they've all been 2-1s, 1-0. They're all 1-goal games. I expect another one tomorrow. Now, both teams were hit a little hard graduation, but they both bring back some excellent players, and I just have a feeling that we're in for another treat tomorrow. And who knows? Maybe you'll see the game recap story on 302 Sports website tomorrow night.
Check it out.
Mike, the other game, number 1 in D2, Delmar, traveling playing number 5, Sussex Tech. That's a Tuesday game, starts at 4 o'clock. Does D2 come up and knock off D1 in this one?
Well, I think that's a very good possibility. But listen, Sussex Tech, kind of under the radar, as much as an 11-3-1 team can be under the radar. Their losses last year were only Polytech, Cape Henlopen, and Delmar. So they beat some pretty good teams, and they tied Lake Forest, another good team. The problem against Delmar, they held them scoreless in the first half, but they gave up 43 shots and didn't have any last season. So, Delmar, Jason mentioned the goal differential last year. They barely gave up one goal all season. The problem, nobody scores on Delmar, so you can't win without scoring. So they have to find how do you get through the Delmar defense. For Delmar, we said the well never runs dry down there. I think an advantage for Delmar, they're playing this weekend at DE Turf in this Tournament of Champions instead of Cape Henlopen against two of Maryland's top teams, Notre Dame Prep and I think South River. And so they're going to have two quality opponents under their belt before they meet Tech on Tuesday. So I would never say never. Sussex got their work cut out for them. This is a dynasty down there. Jody Holloman has at Delmar.
Well, there you have it for field hockey. When we come back, we're going to take a look at, I know you guys will be excited, volleyball. We'll take a look at the top 10. We'll dive into some big matches coming up this weekend, all right here on 302 Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. It's our fall preview special, Season 3 here of 302 Sports Weekly. We're moving right along. We're going to jump back into the court here, Mike and Jay. We're talking, I don't know if it's your favorite sport. It might be your favorite sport. I'm not quite sure, but we're talking volleyball here. And I know you guys, you got a chance to meet up with some teams, do a little preview special like we've done the last couple of years. Before we get into things, how was that experience, and what are some of the things you took out of that?
What I like about it is, we have a chance to meet up with so many of the kids. We talked to 18 teams some this year, so we get a chance to meet up with a lot of the teams and the coaches. So it helps out when we get into the gyms. They're familiar with us, and it helps. They tend to open up and tell us and let us know what's going on, and so I find it to be a big help. And I like to get out and see the team, so I have an opportunity to see what I'm going to be looking at when we finally get to see them on the court. So I always like it. And it's a lot of fun. Volleyball is such a high energy sport. So, and I had a daughter who played volleyball. That's how I kind of got into it.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's awesome.
Well, Jay, just looking at this here, we hear that you guys got some news for us, a little change coming in to this season of 302 Sports. Well, what news do you guys have for us?
Yeah, well, Mike, we announced our matches of the week. We're going to have 6 matches of the week plus a 7th, which is a fan vote. So, as you can see on your screens, the matches.
That's a sweet looking graphic, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And
thanks to the boss man, Nick Halliday.
So we got to announce it, and what I like is that we got, we're for the 6 matches before the fan votes, 12 different teams. Mm-hmm. So I like that, the fact that we're getting as many teams as we can possibly get on.
Absolutely. And speaking of those, Nick, we'll go right through them here. Week 1, Conrad, who that's September 12th. They'll be facing Red Lion 5:15. Week 2, that's September 17th. We'll have Padua, St. Mark, 7:15 start. The September 26th, Friends will be visiting Tower Hill. October 1st, we turned the page there and got some good matchups in October.
Yep, Cape Henlopen will travel to take on St. E's. That game at 6:45. Advancing to week number 5, it's a Tuesday, October 8th. Apo at DMA set for 5:15. Week 6, it's a Thursday, October 17th. Ursuline and Wilmington Charter, they'll do battle at 5:15. And then week 7 is what we talked about a little bit earlier, that fan choice match. We're going to have a fan vote. It'll be before the show on October 16th, and the winning match will be announced on that show. So something to look forward to, a new segment this year, a match of the week again. So something for everyone to look forward to, guys.
I'm excited, and we mentioned on our preview show, if you don't see your team on there, that doesn't mean they're the only matches we're going to be doing.
Right.
We had a match of the week, and so those are the ones we're going to kind of highlight. But there's other matches out there to be streamed. So don't email us just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look on the screen now, we're revealing our volleyball top 10. As you can see, a lot of familiar characters there. Tatnall, Red Lion, Newark Charter, DMA, Conrad, St. Mark's, Wilmington Charter, Archmere, Padua, Ursuline. They are your top 10. And guys, you talked a little bit about this in the preview show, saying that the top 3 could be in any order. I mean, that they're a mix and match. What are some of the things that you like from those 3 teams?
What I like, first of all, Padua returns a whole bunch of talent from last year. They're probably the most complete team right now. Archmere, great talent, great hitters. They're replacing the setter. So will that take a few matches before they get into? I don't think so. I think they can. They'll be just fine. They'll be Archmere. Same thing with Ursuline. Ursuline's bringing back a lot of talent. A key injury in the preseason, but they'll be fine. They're Ursuline. I expect them to be there right at the end of the year, and I think that them, Padua, Archmere can all be number 1 teams right now. But I would say those 3 are probably above everyone else right now.
And Mike, I'm looking at the top 10 here, and it strikes me there's only one independent conference team in there. It's Tatnall. They didn't make the state tournament last year. Are they the strongest team in that conference?
I think on paper, yes. What I want to see more of Tower Hill. I got a chance to watch them a little bit during the play days, but I think Tatnall has the strongest roster going in. I think it comes down between them and Tower. Wilmington Friends is kind of young. Between those 3, you're going to see your independent conference winner there. I expect all 3 of those teams to be in the state tournament. What I like about Tatnall, they have a lot of talent on that team, a lot of height. They have some young players who are coming up, and I want people to pay attention to at Tatnall. They have so many good ones. The seniors, Ashlyn DeLucia and Abby Soja and Mackenzie Prettyman. But there's a freshman there, Emma Kirby, played basketball last year. As an 8th grader. She's got height, and she's athletic, and I think she's going to be something special. So I think Tatnall right now, yes. Well, I want to see Tower Hill, and Tower starts Friday against Wilmington Charter, which is a pretty good way to start.
Well, you look at the independent conference, and obviously Tatnall looks to be the cream of the crop. Jay, the Diamond State Conference, on the other hand, seems to be an absolute juggernaut, 6 in the top 9. What's going on in that conference?
Yeah, it's just a great volleyball conference. I mean, and it's last year like a Red Lion team that was one of the higher seeds in the tournament, like a 12 or 13 seed. They went 2-6 in that conference because that conference is just so strong. They beat up on each other. There's no nights off. Plus, their non-conference schedules always seem to be strong. But, man, I'll tell you what, that conference is just a great conference for volleyball. And 6 teams in the top 9, that's just incredible.
Absolutely.
Including our first match of the week.
Yes.
Conrad and Red Lions. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Jay, now we'll stick with you here. I was looking at some upcoming matches to look up forward to this week. Again, great matchups. 2 top 5 teams now that we look at it. Number 2, Padua at number 4, Wilmington Charter. Tuesday, 5:15. Jay, talk about it. What you got?
Well, they played twice last year. Padua won the regular season. Charter got them in the playoffs on their way to their capturing the state championship last year. Charter lost a lot to graduation, but they're a good team. They get them on their home court. Padua was coming in, their first match of the season. Wilmington Charter has already played Friends in Tower Hill by that point. So they got 2 matches with the young talent under the belt, so that will help them. But man, what a great match! And what can you say? A top 5 battle, and it's gonna be interesting to see how William. Padua has a little revenge because they lost to him in the state tournament, and Wilmington Charter wants to prove that their state championship last year, that this team can be just as good as that team.
And Mike, one of the other game we're going to talk about here, DMA at Newark Charter, Tuesday, 6:15. DMA, a former powerhouse program.
Yeah, well, I don't know that they're not a current powerhouse. They have stepped down, not quite, but they stepped down a step from where they were a couple of years ago when they won their back-to-back titles. They took some hits to graduation. They lost Jackie Shields from last year's team, but pretty much everybody else is back for the Seahawks. Newark Charter last year 9-6, back in the tournament after the previous year, kind of pumped them up, and they had some struggles. They lost Abby Carvajal, but they're bringing back everybody else. Basically, they have a lot of hitters on that team, and it's going to be a good one. And it's almost like, what are you doing? Was putting it as that kind of match early in the season. Like Jason said, there are no nights off, so both teams are going to have to be ready to go. That sounds like a fun match to go watch. It's a fun place to watch a game down at Newark Charter. Almost into Maryland, but it's just sneaks right in there.
That's right. So there you have it. There's your volleyball preview. We're going to take a commercial break, come back, talk boys soccer as we continue here on 302 Sports Weekly.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving things right along here, Nick, as we enter the pitch. We're going to talk a little boys soccer here on 302 Sports Week. Let's start with our Division I top 10, and Nick, a lot of familiar characters there.
Yep, we'll start at number 10, Pat, Polytech. Number 9, St. George's Tech. 8, Sussex Tech. 7, Del Castle. 6, Cape Henlopen. Then we move into our top 5. Coming in at number 5, William Penn. 4, Caesar Rodney. 3, Wilmington Charter. 2, Apo. And then number 1, a familiar face, Salesianum. They're your top-ranked team in Division I. So we'll start with you guys. Any teams outside the top 3 maybe can make a run for a championship later on down the season?
So, do you want me to go or you go?
The one that's
same team,
I was
right?
gonna say probably Caesar Rodney,
Caesar
right?
Rodney.
Yeah, Caesar Rodney is the team. They bring back a lot of talent from last year's team, and I think if anyone can compete with those top 3 teams, it's gonna be Caesar Rodney.
Yeah, they led Apo last year 2-0, and Apo came back and won in overtime 3-2. So they play right with these teams. They got a great coach, Coach Gravitt down there, and I think Wilmington Charter, you can never count them out. They always have a good team. But I would say after that, you're looking at some dark horses. Those 5 are really kind of the cream of the crop. There's the Sally's division and then the next group.
And everyone else pretty much. 2 teams that really kind of come on the scene the past couple of years here, William Penn and Del Castle in that Flight A conference. Obviously, Apo has been there the last couple of years as well, and they've been the predominant team there. But do those 2 programs take another step forward in challenging them for this Flight A championship?
Well, I'll start with William Penn. I think William Penn can. William Penn gave Apo. In fact, they beat Apo last year. They were one of the teams to get Apo early. I think Apo is a much improved team also, so William Penn's going to have to bring their A game if they want to beat them again this year. But I think William Penn bringing back some talent. They got to play with the experience last year, got to play these tough teams a lot tougher, and I think William Penn can make that next step.
I think Del Castle really just lost so many players. They had a lot of seniors last year. My dark horse candidate in Flight A is going to be the Concord Raiders.
Okay.
They were 8-7 last year. Most of their players are back. The roster's not online yet, but I'm hoping that most of those guys are playing this year, or else I don't need help doing this. I'll look like an idiot. They were 8-7 last year. They beat Del Castle, and they hung close with most of their opponents. They have a couple guys coming back. Andrew Robb is going to be their main scorer, and Michael Dumchek. They're going to need a little secondary scoring, but I'd like Concord to maybe give Apple a run for their money in Flight A.
We've got some great upcoming games as well. Every sport, it seems like we're kicking it off with a bang. Here, number 4, Caesar Rodney versus number 3, Wilmington Charter. That's at Dover, Saturday morning matinee, 11:30 a.m. Mike, you want to talk a little bit about that matchup?
Sure. Last year, it was a Wilmington Charter won 1-0 in the same weekend, the upstate downstate. I think a key for CR is to try to test Charter's new keeper. I mean, Matt Bowen graduated, so it looks like Owen Freeman is going to be in net for the Force. So that's going to be interesting to see how he does. I'm sure he's a great player, but Matt Bowen has been there basically for 3 seasons for Charter. Charter's a lot of experience. They got players like Graham Newcomb, Patrick Stella, Dylan Yin. They have a lot of talent on that team. So do they ride the momentum from last year? Maybe CR has a little revenge on their minds. I think it's going to be a fantastic matchup. I believe that's at Dover High School this year.
Absolutely.
And of course, Jay, we got to talk about Sally's, right? I mean, this is a program that's a nationally ranked program, and they start their season off with another out-of-state opponent. They will be playing at Cherry Creek High School in Colorado, Saturday, 3 p.m. I mean, how do they stack up? I mean, they play this national schedule every year, and they seem to do quite all right.
Yeah, they played Cherry Creek a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I believe. Mm-hmm. It was this, and also it's the second game of a back-to-back trip. So they're flying out either tonight or they had a game today. They were either going to fly out tonight or tomorrow.
Right.
And they got a game Friday and a game Saturday. They did this a couple years ago, and Cherry Creek was ranked 8th in the nation. And Sally's ended up losing 5-3. But what's tough for Sally's, it's the second game of a back-to-back in Colorado. The air's a little different.
The altitude.
A little different.
So I think they struggled against that. Will this year be different because they were there a couple years ago, saw what that thing. But a win against Cherry Creek to start the season, like I said, it's going to be Sally's third game, but it's a national power. They still got St. Benedict's Prep on the schedule. They still got all these tough teams. So to get a win out there in Colorado, a 2-0 road trip, I'm sure Coach Moser's probably yelling at me. What are you talking about? But if they could go 2-0 out there, I mean, that's a successful trip, and you come back home and get ready for the competition you're going to face here.
And there you have it for Division 1. Now we'll dive right into Division 2, starting with our top 10. St. Andrews, DMA, Brandywine, Sussex Academy, St. Mark's, and then Conrad at number 5. And here's the rest of your top 5. 4 Indian River, 3 Archmere, 2 Friends, and 1 Caravel. So just right off the bat, you hear the top 10, guys. Any surprises there?
I wouldn't say surprises. Brandywine was undefeated last year. They lose some players, but they're down in that bottom half. One team that isn't in there won a state championship a few years ago was Tower Hill. Maybe that might be a team that can get in there eventually. Newark Charter is another team that's sitting outside that could make a run in there. So it's going to be interesting. But the team I really like in there is Archmere. They did lose a lot to graduation, but they bring back a lot of talent. And could this be the year up there at Philadelphia Pike?
Absolutely. And, Mike, last year, Caravel, great season. They even took Sally's to overtime.
Great game. Great game.
Yeah. So they obviously are sitting at the top. They got the target on their back. Are there some teams that could threaten them this year in Division 2?
Oh, I think so. The Caravel lost 12 seniors, including one of the stars from that Sally's game last year. But they still have a couple really good players in Patrick St. Ledger, Jameson Young. This is a team that the well's not dry, and they had a couple of goalkeepers who should return this year. But it's going to see interesting to see how they incorporate with their new talent. And they have a tough schedule. They're playing Archmere. They have Friends. They play Appo, Wilmington Charter, and Tower Hill. Those are all later in the season. Their early season schedule's a little bit easier, so that gives them a half a season to work these new guys in. So they're number one now. I think they'll be number one for at least the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. But when they start playing some of these tougher competition, we'll see how they do. But they just kind of roll into the next year, and I always tell these kids and stuff, hey, if you're not getting new faces in, then the school's not doing their job, because the idea is to get them in and get them out of high school. So it happens to everybody.
And Jay, that leads me into my next question. Who's going to give Caravel the most trouble? You already mentioned Archmere. Is there anyone else you see that could give Caravel some trouble this season?
Friends sitting there too. Friends took them to overtime in the state championship game last year before falling in that one. They bring back a lot of talent. I think Friends is a team. I like Archmere, like I said. After that, it's Indian River. Every year, Indian River always seems to be in that picture. By the way, I think they were the last team to face Sally's that isn't named CR Wilmington Charter and Appoquinnock in the final when it was when it was just one division.
Yep. So there you have it. There, you got some good upcoming games up here. Mike, we'll start with this one up in your neck of the woods, right? You're a proud Clay Monster.
I'm a Clay Monster, that's right.
Although this game won't be being played there.
That's
but
right.
number 3 in D2, Archmere will be visiting number 8 in D1, Sussex Tech, Saturday at 1 p.m. Can the Hawks go down there and make Claymont proud?
That's closer to Benny's neck of the woods.
I know.
Yeah, they can. What you got to like about Archmere, it all starts with Andrew Rosenbaum. Hard to believe he's a senior. He's a preseason All-American. So they have the talent. He's not alone. They've graduated quite a bit, but Rosenbaum's not alone. Sussex Tech is always tough. I don't see why Archmere can't go down there and make some noise. They were 13-2 last year, so they beat some good teams.
Yeah.
And one of the losses was Salesianum, and then they got upset in the playoffs. But sure, they can make the long trip and come home with a W. Really, it all starts with Rosenbaum. He's heading to the University of South Carolina next year to play soccer, so it'll be the SEC's problem. But this year, he's going to be terrorizing Division II teams here in Delaware.
And then, Jay, just a little bit earlier than that start time, you get a good breakfast and you can head down for the 9:30 a.m. matinee between number 9 in Division I, St. George's, and number 7 in Division II, Sussex Academy. That game also at Dover. So, what do you talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, Sussex Academy, the last few years, they've been really good in soccer. It's great to see. Now they get a test against St. George's Tech, who's since made the jump to Division I. They've been up there, but they're also looking to rebound after a tough year last year. So it's going to be interesting. I don't like that. I don't know if those coaches like that 9:30 early morning start on a Saturday. St. George's Tech traveling down to Dover, Sussex Academy traveling up from Dover.
There's curfew Friday night.
Yeah.
Better be in bed.
Yeah, I don't think many of those soccer players will be watching football games on Friday night. They'll be bed check.
I know exactly what they need, right? Benny Mitchell, you're going to like this. You get some scrapple sandwiches.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Who doesn't love scrapping sandwiches?
And you get ready to go.
Hand them
That's
out on
all
the
you
bus.
need.
Hand them out on the bus.
Absolutely. So that'll do it there for soccer. It's going to be another great season upcoming for all the sports that we covered. We got one more we're going to cover here. We talked a little bit about it with our 302 Sports kickoff game of the week, but we're going to break down football now. Benny Mitchell will join the panel after the break as we talk a little pigskin.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution. We are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley, cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the Culinary Coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began his...
And ladies and gentlemen, 302 Sports Weekly. We're back here. We're talking a little football. Everybody's got a little experience up here on the panel. Nick Alessandrini. Benny Mitchell joins the crew back up here with Jason and Mike. And fellas, we're going to reveal our Division I, our football preseason top 10, and the graphics up on your screen. And I mean, you look at it: Appo, St. George's, Smyrna, Penn, CR, Dover, Middletown, Hodson, Sally's, Sussex, Central, of course, is the defending state champs. Now you look at that top 5, right? And that's all familiar characters from last year. A lot of talent in the state this year. It seems like year after year, the talent continues to get better. What do you see in these top 5? These top 5 teams. Of course, we got the Sussex Central leading the way at down in Sussex, but everybody else kind of hovering above that line there.
I think when you talk Sussex Central, I think a lot of people are probably surprised that Sussex Central is the number 1 team, losing so much, but they're returning a lot. This Michael Glandon, the quarterback, he played 2 games last year when Barnes was hurt, so he's got some games under his belt. Kasim Lewis, number 9, he's back, both sides of the ball.
The legend.
Katai Tilley, Javon Saffold. Offensively, the entire offensive line is back from last season. Tajir Shepard-Parker, and 3 of the 4 guys that scored touchdowns for Sussex Central in the state championship game are back.
It's big. It's big. Jay and Mike, you look at the top 5 there. Especially with Sally's, Hodson, and Middletown. 3 very familiar teams. Dover, kind of a newer team that's kind of entered the game over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and what can you say about Sally's? I mean, they were a young team last year. They were not expected to be where they were. They entered the tournament as the 5 seed, beat Middletown and Hodson before falling to Sussex Central. What do you like about Sally's? They bring back Andrew Watkins, a great running back behind a great offensive line. Their defensive line is strong. We'll see the quarterback situation because they suffered an unfortunate injury there in the last scrimmage. So we'll see how they fare there. Mm-hmm. But I really like the Slays-Annam team, and I think Coach DiNardo will have them ready to play. But they come out of the gates with William Penn and Hodson the first 2 weeks. So William Penn Dover the first 2 weeks. So not an easy start.
What I like about Hodgson, I'll start with C.J. Henry, quarterback. And what was impressive with Hodgson last year was the size, and they were huge.
Yeah.
And,
big boys.
They haven't gotten any smaller. So they open up with Dover on Saturday. They have Louisiana, and they play a real tough play-day schedule. So they're going to have Middletown, obviously, and William Penn. But it all starts with C.J. Henry. Another year of experience there. They came within a whisker of beating Sally's in the playoffs last year. So I think they're going to be hungry over there. Coach Moffitt's a great coach.
Yeah.
So I like our top 3. I think it's exactly the way it should be. And then some teams jumbled in the mix right after.
Yeah, and like our other sports, we've got some great matchups early this week. Get it kicked off. Number 8 Smyrna, number 4 Middletown, a historic matchup there. Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Benny,
the Harvest
talk
Bowl.
a little bit about that. Yeah.
Well, Middletown, not the talk of the preseason, the talk of the summer has been Braden Davis, the quarterback, and the kid. I mean, he's already getting offers. He's getting a lot of looks. And on the other side of the coin with Smyrna, Debo Williams is back, the linebacker. Who I expect to see this guy on both sides of the ball. He's a specimen of an athlete. So great matchup here between Smyrna and Middletown to start the season. It was our state title game a few years back.
Yeah. And both of those guys will probably be playing Division I ball.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. Looking at our next game here, Mike, William Penn, right?
Yeah.
They're starting to figure some things out now. A couple
hope
years
so.
removed from Coach Dooley there. They're visiting number 2 Sally's. Of course, with Baynard under construction, that game will be played at AI DuPont Friday night, 7:30. Does Penn have a chance, a puncher's chance against Louisiana?
They have a chance. Salesian Jason went through the Sallies.
Yeah.
They're so big and they're so experienced, especially on the lines. That was such a question mark for them last year, but those guys really proved themselves. They've added Brett Quokka lately, and then a couple other guys that transferred in. They have James Yelbert. I looked at William Penn's roster, and there's a lot of juniors on the roster, but there's some youth in the skill positions, and I think they're up against the Sal's on Friday night, but you never count them out. I think William Penn had some trouble scoring points last year, and so they need to find some offense. But yeah, they always have a chance. You know, why play the game if you don't have a chance? So,
that is true.
I think Sal's going as a favorite, but you know, William Penn and Sal's could go way back playing each other, and sometimes that rivalry thing really plays a role. But you know, hey, Jason's going to be there watching the game for us, and we'll see what happens.
And then we get another great matchup, another early one for you, Jay. Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. kickoff. Number 5 Dover, number 3 Hodson. We talked about how impressive that top 5 was. We get a matchup this early. Nick Halliday, he said, "I'll be there." That's how big of a game we're looking at. So just elaborate a little bit on this matchup.
Well, what a home field advantage it is for Hodson to have that 10:30.
Every year.
Last year it was Sussex Central.
Yeah.
They went
That's
up
right,
there.
Yeah.
Hodson scored 26 points on it. I don't think Sussex Central gave up 26 points the rest of the year. So that early start is an advantage. Also, Dover lost a lot to graduation, as many as
22 seniors.
22
graduated.
seniors. I mean, they have the running back.
Got Javon Peace.
But, you know, they're going to need some other players to step up. And they have Hodson and Sally's in the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, that's a tough go for them, but oh man, I can't wait for that matchup on Saturday.
I tell you right now, if Dover wins that opening game against Hodson, watch out.
Yeah,
I mean,
get hot.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. If they come in there, because I mean they're definitely the underdog with the loss of all the seniors. Yeah, they have Javon Peace, but I mean they got a lot of guys learning. They come out there with a win. This team could get hot early.
It very well could happen. You know, we've mentioned some guys, obviously, with Braden Davis. You mentioned Javon Peace, 2 of the top guys, Debo Williams as well, as you mentioned. Big-time players playing in Division I football this year. Each of you guys, if you could give us a couple players to really keep an eye on over the next 10 weeks, who would they be?
We'll start, man.
Go ahead.
First of all, I'm going to start off with Kasim Lewis. You know, last year I think he had 10 carries, 7 touchdowns, something crazy like that. And they weren't 1-yard plunges. They were, whenever he touched the ball, he took people in the end zone with him. We saw in the title game where he dragged a player into the end zone. Obviously, Debo Williams, Javon Peace, Watkins, Darius Hale from Hodson, the fullback. Let's see how he plays. And here's my guy. And here's a team everybody needs to watch as a dark horse. I don't know if these guys, they got hot late last year. Ricky Kane is back at quarterback for Sussex Tech. He was out all year last year, brother Kanai Kane. And he is an RPO. You can call it the dual threat. He's all of it. And he had a great sophomore year and then was out all last year with the ACL. My guy to really watch is Ricky Kane from Sussex Tech.
Who you got, Jay?
I'm going to go back to my running back from Salesian, Watkins. He had a phenomenal year. He carried Sally's in those 2 playoff wins against Middletown and Hodson. Over 200 yards against that Hodson defense. That was incredible all year long, so I really like him. Also, C.J. Henry, the quarterback of Hodson, 10-0 in the regular season last year. He put up some fantastic numbers, and I think I think them and Hodson, you know, they're ready to play.
Well, and you know the thing is with both of those guys there, Jay, they've been in the spotlight since they were young. They're now upperclassmen. I think you're right. I think it could be a chance for those two to really put the team on the back and send them there. Mike, who you got?
So I give you a couple out of Salesian. I mentioned the defensive end, James Yelbert. I think he's going to be a beast this year. Give the defense some love. Offensively, transfer from Newark to Carroll, like Jermaine Earl. I think he's going to have a nice season for the Buccaneers. You know, into a New York's really struggled lately, so he's at Caravel, and I like to see how he does. And also from Middletown, the running back Najee Smith.
Fast boy, man.
He's not tall, but he's muscular and he can scamper around the field. We've been watching Najee for a couple of years, and I'm really excited to see how he does. So I'd say maybe those three, and there's some others.
Absolutely.
And now we're going to look ahead to our Division II rankings. That was Division I. So now on to Division II. Your top 10 is as follows. Coming in at number 10, Caravel. Number 9, Lake Forest. We'll have a chance to see them tomorrow night. 8, DMA. 7, Tower Hill. 6, Archmere. Then we look at the top 5. Howard at number 5. AI DuPont at 4. Delmar 3. Friends 2. And Woodbridge 1. And again, just like in D1, the top 5 teams loaded with talent. Delmar and AI, they lost a lot of kids though to graduation. How long are they going to stay in that top 5?
It's Division II. It's crazy, and it has been for the last 5 years. One team gets hot, one team gets cools down a little bit, and then we get to week 8, and we're right up to week 10, adding up who's going to get in the playoffs, and then you end up with crazy stuff like a number 8.
Winning the title
in Delmar, or a year before number 7. So I talked to Jed Bell yesterday, and he doesn't like carrying the number 1 banner as the new head coach, and they've lost so much. But it's a program, and those freshmen that came out after the first state title game are now the juniors, and it was like 30-some kids, I think.
All right, let's go right along here, and let's look at some games coming up. We got some good ones. Benny Mitchell, you talked about Coach Bell down there at Woodbridge. First early on test, they placed number 10, Caravel, Friday night, 7:30. How do they do on what's typically the banner night, right? The first game back from the title.
Yeah, well, you look at when I talked to him yesterday, talking about Caravel being number 10, he said it must be a strong ranking if they're number 10. This could be a preview of a state title game.
How about that?
If
That's
everything,
a bold prediction here on week 1.
It could be a preview of a state title game. Caravel's a tough number 10. With Ethan Potter committed to Villanova, Jacob Hoffman, the quarterback, and they've got some guys coming in now too. So they got some transfers and some new kids. And then in Woodbridge, gone is Troy Haynes, the all-state quarterback. Jamon Kane, the Ocho, is gone. How do you replace him, right? And Richard Massey. Well, you replace Richard Massey with his brother, Jaquan, and you replace Troy Haynes with the number 2 quarterback in Henlopen South last year. Dalton Purdue from Laurel moves to Bridgeville. He's now the quarterback of the Blue Raiders. And then they return a bulk of that offensive and defensive line. So big game. I talked to Jed about the weather, and he said we're playing Friday night. I'm sure there's some strategy there. If the winds are here, that's what he wants. Because it looks like Caravel's probably going to want to sling the ball around the yard a lot.
And Mike, now go ahead. Do you want to touch on? I was going to say, now we're looking to a top 5 matchup. Number 4, AI. Number 2, Friends. Saturday, 2 p.m. Again, another treat here, the top 5 game. What do you think about that?
AI season ended kind of on a sour note last year with the loss at Tower Hill. Not only at Tower Hill, it was a home game for AI, and they chose to play at Tower, and they had to play Tower on their home field. So, they did lose. They lost quite a bit to graduation, including Dan, the quarterback, and they lost a lot of transfers. So we're going to see how Coach Blum does this year. And then Friends, what can you say? Bob Tattersall's back then. Good to see Coach Tattersall back in the saddle. They have a high-quality quarterback now, Wyatt Nelson, who, believe it or not, is a senior.
And he's committed for baseball, right?
Committed for baseball to the University of Missouri. He started at Caravel a couple of years ago, and was pressed into duty as a freshman. So they lost some people too. So it's kind of it's the war of attrition at those two schools. I just look at Friends every year. They're 8-1 every season and make it into the playoffs. They've been in the finals a couple of times, and they have the quarterback Nelson. So we'll see with the losses both teams have suffered, and it's at Friends how things work out on Saturday in my favorite neighborhood, Alapocus.
How about that? And you look at last year, you had names like Troy Haynes, you had Jamon Kane, you had Mitch Moyer down there. A lot of good talent in Division II. Restocking going on here down there. Who are some guys to keep an eye on in the Division II side of football?
Good, Jay.
Start with you, Jay.
Oh, well, geez.
I better write some names down.
I was gonna say, it's tough. I mean, it really is. A lot of Division II players lost to graduation last year, so it's gonna be interesting to see who steps up and takes that role this year.
You have any one, Mike?
Yeah, I got a couple. So I'm going to start at. I'm going to try to give you three if my brain works correctly. Mac DiGregorio up at Archers coming back off an injury, missed last season. I talked to Matt. He's ready to go, and the Hawks are ready to go. And they have so many changes up there, but Matt's one of the captains, so it's going to be good to see how he does. Ramir Marks, the Brandywine quarterback last year, I believe he was a freshman or sophomore. So we'll see how the Bulldogs do and Ramir Marks. And then in St. Mark's, a whole bunch of new people. But I'm looking forward to watching my good buddy, Zion Glover, the current 100-yard state champion. And I just want to see him zipping up and down that field. He's a treat to watch. And he's playing some receiver this year, he tells me. So we'll see how Zion does down there on the hill.
And, Benny, like we talked about a couple other guys that transferred out. And your boy Mason Lilly, I know who you really like.
Yeah, that was going to be my last thought. First of all, watch Potter at Caravel. Imagine if Wyatt Nelson stayed, no slight against Jacob Hoffman. Imagine if Wyatt Hoffman stays at Caravel. And you got this connection with Potter. Potter's going to be one to watch. He's a D2 Delaware kid, already committed to an FCS school in Villanova. Obviously, Wyatt Nelson. I think a guy to watch is Dalton Purdue. Not that he's an all-state quarterback, but how does he lead Woodbridge? He's got to learn the new program. And now getting to Delmar, yes, they've lost Dante Trader. They've lost Mason Lilly. If you remember at the end of last year, I said was the guy to watch in Delaware this year. So he's gone. That's four.
The curse of Benny.
That's four potential all-state spots. But who to watch from Delmar? It's Dave Hearn, whoever the next man up is.
That's true.
And that's how Delmar plays football. They're not. I'm telling you right now, they didn't go into camp, whining about Trader and Lilly. It's next man up down there, and look for them to make that push to get in that state tournament. And then they're always, when they get in, they're tough.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. One team that we didn't see in there, Nick, and I know this kind of hits hard and hits home to you. St. Mark's. Do they take a bounce back step under Joey Wright this year, his second year at his alma mater?
Well, the one thing about St. Mark's is last year their schedule was killer. You had Woodbridge, you had DMA. Their schedule was tough from top to bottom last year. This year it's a little lighter for them, but they lost a lot. So what do they have coming back, and what can Coach Wright take for that next step? But this year, what I do like is they play 3 Division I teams, so there's points there to be had with beating a Division I team. But it's gonna be tough. But I like the fact that their schedule's a little easier this year. They don't have the Woodbridge, they don't have the Howards. It's a little easier.
There it is, Jay. The Spartans' rise back to prominence begins soon. You heard it here first. Well, that about wraps up.
Anniversary
Exactly. See, it's all clicking now. It's all clicking. Well, that about wraps up our football preview. We're going to take another very quick break. When we come back, we're going to debut a new segment. Jay, I'll explain it to you coming up after the break.
Home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. 302 Sports Weekly, our first show of the 2019-2020 school year. And now we're going to debut a brand new segment. This was proposed to us by our colleague here, Jason Winchell. Want to have a little bit of fun. And, Jake, break down this Pick'em special that we're going to start doing this year.
Yeah, so we're going to have 4 or 5 games each week. We're a mixture of volleyball, football, some other sports in there. But a chance for us to have some fun, pick some games. You get some points for obviously picking the correct winner, but you also get a lot of bonus points for picking some correct scores or close enough scores. It's going to be exciting and to see where the 5 of us stack up each week and who takes home the trophy at the end of the year.
It's at the Lead Dog Challenge. I love this.
You got my notes there because I don't remember who I picked.
Oh, Mike.
I got them.
Come on, Mike. Here we go.
They're on
All
there.
right.
I know I put them on there.
All right, Jay.
Okay,
So we're going to look into this now. So here we go. The first game you chose for us, Volleyball Showdown. Huh?
Yeah.
Friday night. Who we got?
Wilmington Charter, the
Okay.
defending champs, opening at Tower Hill. And I think we should start with the Lang, or why don't you take the first pick there, Mike?
Yeah, apparently I'm going with Wilmington Charter, and this is they're just too tall. I think Tower is going to be a really good team, but I like Wilmington Charter to open the season in 4 really good sets in that tiny little gymnasium at Tower Hill.
I think you read my notes. I also have Wilmington Charter in 4. I think the defending champs want to get off to a good start and road contest at Tower Hill in the small Weaver Gym opening weekend. Won't be easy, but I like Charter in 4 sets.
Who we going with next?
So that's 3-1.
Yes.
What do you think, Benny?
I don't have to have the match scores. Just okay.
No.
Let's see. Hawks or Penguins. Charter is the Force, right? Formerly the Red Devils.
Do you have a calculator as a
Right. But when you compare when you mix a calculator and a Red Devil, 3-1 Charter.
You know what, Benny?
You know what? I'll go next here. And Jay, I think Benny Mitchell's got a great formula. It's a heck of a way to come to it. If I do not remember incorrectly, see if you Charter students can get that one, right? But Maddie Matheny and Company's still there, Charter. Have not graduated.
Maddie's gone.
She is going up. Man,
now I got to.
you know what? I'm going way out on a limb then, fellas.
Oh!
Way out on a limb. Taking the Hillers.
The
I
Hillers.
believe in you, Tower.
Oh, it was the
You're
Hillers.
going to get the job
I got my
done.
greens mixed
I
up.
think you're going to upset the champs.
How many sets?
It's going to go to distance. It's
Okay,
going to go
five
distance.
setter.
It's going 5.
What
Wow.
a treat for that audience, I'll tell you, if that were to happen.
I've been to a few of these. It's an awesome match.
I was crunching numbers all last night when I heard about this segment. I mean, when I heard about this segment, I couldn't go to sleep. I was crunching numbers all night. I came out with the Force in 4 sets. It'll all happen soon, and I'm sure, as all of us have said, so now that's my pick as well. We'll move on.
There's one.
All right. Next matchup we got, Jay. We're heading to the gridiron, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna have a north-south battle as St. George's Tech goes down to Cape Henlopen.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see what the weather's like, but we're gonna start with B. Mitch.
All right. Cape Henlopen lost a lot from last year, and they've lost even more in the preseason with some injuries and some kids. I think their best running back, JoJo Kirby, moves to Virginia. St. George's, I understand, is a physically big squad, and I'm going to go the Hawks, 35, Cape Henlopen 17.
Whew, he's got a score with there, too.
Yeah.
Oh, we all score.
We're going right along. Let's
make us
go
look bad.
to me here. I think Coach Wilson, he's got the job done at St. Mark's. He's at St. George's now. I think this program takes a step forward. I'm going to say 35-12. I don't think they allow Henlopen to get an extra point or 2-point conversion. I think it goes 35-12. St. George's in a
Cape does
very
have 2
impressive-
kickers. They have 2 kickers.
I think it's
Yeah.
going to happen.
All right.
I think it's going to be blocked extra points.
All righty.
35
Just like the Hornets last Thursday, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like Pat alluded to it, that's some of my old coaching staff there now at St. George's. I'm I'm gonna roll with the Hawks here. We're gonna open it up here, 42-14.
Oh wow.
We're opening it up.
Yeah,
What
we're
are we?
on the same wavelength here. Benny mentioned Cape Young coming off a 1-9 season at St. George's. Really tough schedule last year with 5-5. Another season under the belt for John Wilson. I like the Hawks, 33. A couple of missed extra points, 13.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go St. George's, 27-13. The interesting thing is it's J.D. Malls now at Cape Henlopen. He used to coach St. George's Tech for all those years and had St. George's Tech as a great program. Is that a little more motivation for him facing his old team coming down there? Plus, it might be a little windy that night with the tropical storm that's coming up,
and the breeze you already get off the bay.
Yep, and the breeze off the bay. So could that play a factor score wise and keep it a little lower than we all think?
Absolutely. And moving right along here, we're going to go back to the court. We're going to go Caravel traveling to Tatnall in a Friday night battle. We're going to start with, this is his own nickname. He wants this, the wind chill effect.
That's right.
The wind chill effect.
I have the effect
How have I not
for
heard
you.
that before?
This is going to be unbelievable because this is a 5-setter right out of the gate.
Okay.
This is probably the most competitive matchup we have opening weekend. I am going to take Tatnall on their home court with their student section there cheering them on. The Hornets are going to win in 5 sets.
Oh, wow. All right. Let's go, Mike. What do you got?
All right. Well, I had the same result, I believe.
You did.
I should write these down.
Being selfish.
I think you suffered a concussion on the way up here.
I like Tatnall in 5 sets only because it's a home opener. I think it's a home opener. And but I'll tell you this: I saw Caravel during a couple play days. They have a new coach down there, and Michael Clark, who was an assistant at Archman for many years. They looked to me, Caravel looked like one of the better teams I saw in the preseason, and they're going to be knocking on the door of the top 10 before you know it. Unfortunately, I think Tatnall opens with an emotional home opener win, so I like it at 5.
Benny Mitchell.
I can't tell you that I'm as excited to pick this game as these guys were, because
You know the mascots?
Yeah, I do, and that'll be my ending point. Yeah, the Bucks are going to be traveling into Tatnall, just outside the city of Wilmington. So you got a little bit of the suburbs getting into into Wilmington, but I'm going to take the Hornets to sting the Bucks. 3-2.
3-2. 3 sets to
5
2.
setters.
I'll take this one next, Nick. I think they get the job done in 4 sets, and that being Tatnall. I think Tatnall gets a 4-set win. I do think that they're all going to be close matches, though, but they pull this one out in 4.
Mike, you said Caravel will be knocking on that door to the top 10. I'm going to be the one opening it. They're going to come on in.
Right.
Caravel comes on into
special,
Tatnall. They get a 5-set victory there. The Bucks. I'm going to fly with the Bucks
You're
here.
saying that because we're going to be at Caravel tomorrow night, right?
Oh, of course, absolutely. My cousins went there. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks, he says. All right, next one.
Oh yeah.
What is this one?
It's a Division 1, Division 2.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
Both neighbors right there. Mount Pleasant visiting Archmere. Archmere went 9-1 last year, but they lost a lot.
Yeah.
A lot for that team. I like them to beat Mount, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I like Archmere 19, Mount Pleasant 12.
I'll tell you what, that's a heck of a team there as far as that's concerned. Benny Mitchell. Who do we got here? I know Archmere, Mount Pleasant.
Nick Nixon, this one here.
It's been a long time since I've been up to. I've been around Mount Pleasant, and got to see him a couple years ago against Smyrna in a highly anticipated game. But now they're back in Division 2, and the Green Knights are going to pull the upset.
Wow. All right.
And they're going to go for 2. The Green Knights, 16. Archmere, 14.
Oh, wow.
What a game.
One.
Get your popcorn ready for that
Good
one.
game at least.
Mike Lang, what do you got for us, sir?
Well, it's kind of a neighborhood battle here. I think Archmere, the home opener, they are hungry up there. They're anxious to prove that just because they lost a whole stack of players that the cover's not bare. I'm going to go with the Hawks on the Hope opener, and I think the loss of Brett Koka is going to be another motivator to prove that they can get along. I like the Hawks 31-21.
Okay, high scoring, high
Sorry,
scoring.
man.
Wow. Nick, Allison Draney, who you got, sir?
Pat, I'm going to make this one quick. I'm going to go Archmere 21-7.
Okay, all right.
You might not have a job next week.
You know what?
Wait a minute, did I say Archmere? Well, man,
I hate to do this to you.
I'm voting for the team in green.
I do think the Hawks are going to maybe not be as good as last year, but they are always well coached and they're always very disciplined, and I think that's what carries them against Mount Pleasant, 20-14.
We're all out of a job, right?
Benny gets paid extra.
Benny
It's a bonus.
He's doing. All right, now Jay, you're talking about a pick'em game here for Game 5. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the volleyball. I'm going to go St. Mark's versus St. George's Tech. Like Mike said, it's the 50th anniversary. They're having a little thing that day at the school, and I like the Spartans in 3 sets. Both teams were in the playoffs last year, and I expect both teams to come out on fire in this one, but I like the Spartans at home in 3 sets.
Mike, who you thinking?
Well, I talked about earlier, Wilmington Charter and Cesar Rodney soccer. I think it's going to be another close one, just like last year, 1 goal. But this time I think Cesar Rodney gets the revenge, and they don't have to travel too far from Camden to Dover. So I like the Riders, 1-0. It's a nil season, baby.
I love where
Benny
Danny
Mitchell.
scores.
I get to pick any sport.
Any
in the
game, any sport you
You
want.
got a volleyball
I'm going
one
to go
for us?
football,
Field hockey, baby.
and I'm going to take us down to Old North Road.
Old Town?
Old Town
Old North Road,
All over through.
where the Cesar Rodney Riders will be taking on Appoquinimink. I'm going to take old Caesar and his horse Spirit
Yeah.
to top Appoquinimink 28-12.
All right.
Nick, Allison,
12.
Draney.
Yeah, we're back. I'm going to go Middletown Smyrna game, and I'm going to go.
Harvest Ball.
I'm going to go the Harvest Ball. I'm going to go Middletown pulls out the victory. They're going to put up points. I'm going to say put up 42 to 28. I'm going to get 42-28.
Smyrna getting the offense back and going. Just got to get the defense figured out then. I'm going to stay with football. AI DuPont at Friends, right? The 2 playoff teams last year. AI loses some talent. Friends, they like to win ugly a lot of the times, right? I mean, they really do. Very rarely do they put up a whole lot of points. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I say Friends gets it done 21-13 over AI. Is where I'm going with
That is a high Wilmington Friends score right there.
Yeah.
They're feeling themselves. Get off to a great start here to start the year. Just like I'm sure we all did here tonight for our first episode of 302 Sports, and
yeah. So that's how we'll wrap it up for any kind of wrap up as far as the colleges, the local athletes you're seeing around college, as well as professional sports. Please keep an eye out on our social medias and the website. We will get into that as the broadcasts continue on here. You will hear more about these athletes, but we really wanted to focus our time to really get the high school stuff underway and get our feet wet with the season upcoming. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. We'll do like we did last year. We'll finish with a final thought, and we'll go around the table. We'll start with Benny Mitchell.
Hey, tune into these 2 kickoff classics games. There was no kickoff classic last year. It's back between DIFCA and 302 Sports. It's a chance, like I said, it's Polytech's maiden voyage. Christiana, you don't get to see a lot of Christiana, so grandparents and uncles and cousins that are away, hey, tell them, tune in to 302 Sports, watch these 2 kickoff classics, and support these programs that are trying to grow and get themselves in the mainstream of Delaware high school football.
Jay?
I'm going to send it out to our fans and everyone that's watching. Feel free to send us information. Someone reached a milestone. Reach out to us. You can send it to our email. Contact us on social media. Just keep us informed on stuff like that, because we want to get out there. It's all about the kids, and we want to make sure that they're going to promote it well.
Absolutely. Mike.
So really for the bigger kids, I want to say congratulations and good luck to all of the Delaware products who are going to be playing in the NFL starting this weekend, starting tomorrow night, I guess, is the opening game. It's so amazing from the time that when I was in high school 150 years ago to now, the number of players from Delaware that you see in the NFL. Just some new guys this year. Troy Reeder with the Rams, Darnell Savage, I think, is with the Buccaneers. Is he with the Bucks?
Adderley with the Chargers.
No, Darnell Savage with the Packers.
Yeah,
Packers. I'm sorry. Godwin's down there with the Bucks. Adderley with the Chargers.
Bilal Nichols, Bears.
There's so many. Bilal Nichols, a couple guys on practice.
We've never had this many Delaware kids at one time in the NFL.
It's insane.
Crazy.
You would never see this years ago where this many kids from Delaware are playing in the NFL. And I think it's awesome. And you know what's even better? A lot of us covered these guys in high school, and you played with Andre. It's so cool when you watch a game and you're like, I know that guy, and it's pretty neat. So congratulations, everybody, and we'll be watching you starting tomorrow night, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you got here as your final thought?
Yeah, when you go forth in final thoughts, your idea might get taken. I've had both of them. You got to have three. But just a reminder here to everyone, again, the game's tomorrow night. And if you can't sit home and watch the games, the Christiana St. Elizabeth's game will also be on Fox Sports 1290 and the iHeartRadio app. If you're out running around, you can check it out that way. And then also a good luck. And you can watch it at Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll have it on here. Come get something to eat. But like Mike said, just good luck to everyone. Have a safe year and work hard.
Absolutely. And my final thought is I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the two Delaware college football teams that we have. Delaware State and University of Delaware. Obviously, they just played a game, and Delaware, of course, won, I believe, their 8th or 9th consecutive game against Delaware State. But the reason why I've given these programs kudos is they're starting to keep it in-house. You got a lot of Delaware athletes that played high school football that are at both of these universities. Just looking down the list, we start with Chichi Amachi on UD, Brian Dennis, Frank and Raya Burton, Nolan Henderson, Will Knight, Kedrick Whitehead, Mickey Henry, Colin Cathers, among some other guys who are on the roster but may not have big-time roles yet. And then you look at DSU, Karan Aline from DMA, David Bowman, Tyreek Booker, Nigel Bynum, Brandon Shimko, among other guys as well. That's what I love to see from the two college programs, keeping the talent in-house. We really like coming out and seeing these guys play.
And don't forget, D3 kicks off this weekend with the Wesley Wolverines.
Yeah, that's right. Wesley does the same thing, and they do the exact same thing. That's a good point, Benny Mitchell. So there you have it for all of us here at 302 Sports. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. It's going to be a great year. We got a lot of exciting things coming up. And, you know, as Jason said, always feel free to reach out. We will come see you guys play in some way, shape, or form. Contact us on all our social media as well as the 302sports@gmail.com email address. For everybody here at Pat Gariani's, Nick Alessandrini, we will see you next week, and we will see you tomorrow night. Thank you. Couldn't be more excited about having our show here held at the Buffalo Wild Wings and Christiana location, and here on Route 7, brand new location. They moved here from Limestone Road, and it's going to be the new home of 302 Sports Week. We're going to recap some local, college, and professional stuff. It's time for everybody's favorite part of the day, top 5 plays. Here we go. Stanley, your number 1 play from AI, 76-yard punt return. We got ourselves the quality cam here on the sideline. It's awesome to watch from this angle, to be honest with you. And watch, whoa, going up. He went to 412. He left the first there at 4-4. I mean, those ups right there. You can't make this stuff up.